Stablecoin payments with Mastercard cards. This is a huge development in the world of stablecoins. Join us right now, first on CNBC from Toronto, is MoonPay's founder and CEO, Ivan Soto-Wright. Good morning to you. Just because some folks may not understand what this all means, break down the technology here. So Mastercard, well, I won't even do it. You do it, Ivan.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me again. It's great to be back on the show. From our perspective, we think stablecoins are a really big deal. It's actually quite personal for me. I'm half Venezuelan, and there are people all around the world that receive money from the United States. This is a new technology layer. Stablecoins are dollars on a blockchain. Anyone with an internet connection, anyone with a phone can receive money in the form of the US dollar at the speed of light, the speed of the internet. And, from our perspective, we want to see this embedded everywhere. The next logical step for us was, okay, there's 120 million unique wallet addresses that have stablecoins, 30 million active users. How do we make that possible for them to spend those stablecoins? Logical next step was with Mastercard. They've been a phenomenal partner. We've been working with them over the past couple of years. Shout out to Michael and Sherry, the president over at Mastercard, to bring this to life. But we want to make this more accessible. MoonPay has been about building the backwards compatibility of the existing financial system. So this made a lot of sense.
I want you to sort of project out what the financial future looks like, because I sometimes don't think that the audience and all of us totally understand where this all goes, because it feels to me, once you get to a point where a Mastercard or the Visa network and everybody is in stablecoin land, actually sort of finance actually fundamentally changes.
For sure. I think cryptocurrency wallets are going to be embedded everywhere. It's ultimately a new internet native technology. If you think about the legacy system, we had all these financial systems in different parts of the world that didn't communicate with each other in a shared language. Blockchains are that shared language. Stablecoins sit on top of them. And so we think it's going to be a natural next step that every single financial institution recognizes its importance. And so that was part of the reason last time I came on the show, we acquired therein, which was a developer platform to bring APIs, bring really simple to easy to use infrastructure for any business to embed stablecoins.
In terms of how, though, this fundamentally disrupts the banks or the traditional financial system, I mean, here you have Mastercard doing this. At some level, is this going to cannibalize any part of their business?
I think this is like a natural evolution. So we've seen technology leaps. This is the next technology leap. Everyone's going to recognize that internet native money movement. It just needed to happen. The next generation, my generation, isn't going to put up with days and very costly expenses for moving money around. Traditional remittance providers would charge up to 6% if you wanted to move money from the United States to another country. You can do this at a fraction of a penny with a stablecoin. And so from our perspective, the best technology will ultimately win, and our job is to democratize it.
What about tracking money? So the government has an agency called FinCEN. People don't talk about it that often, but really does try to look for, money movements that might be suspicious or nefarious or things like that. Once you move into this world, how regulated is it? How unregulated is it? And does it need to be policed?
Yeah, well, I'll say I think it's actually far safer on the blockchain. There's incredible companies, Chainalysis, Elliptic, a bunch of these blockchain analytic firms that enable you to track transactions on a blockchain. So I'd argue, there have been a lot of arguments around nefarious activity in crypto. It's actually a relatively small proportion. We're talking under 1%. And the reality is it's much easier to track down illicit activity over a blockchain than it is through the traditional financial system.
How do you feel about meme coins and all of the other sort of coins that are now out there? Is that helpful to you, or is that giving the whole world that you live in a bad name?
I think we need to zoom out for a second. If you think about this industry, we did not have regulatory clarity for some period of time. A lot of assets have been speculative, but I think the next generation that we're going to see within the crypto economy is productive assets ending up on chain. We'll see stocks, we'll see bonds, we'll see all these traditional financial instruments ending up on chain. And so we can think about meme coins as an experiment. It's a toy, but this is going to evolve into something much bigger.